Okay. Dear students and dear watchers, in this lecture we are going to talk about a CV, curriculum vitae. Curriculum vitae. The basic definition that we are going to take start from what is a CV. A CV, which stands for curriculum vitae, is a document used when applying for jobs. Okay, it's a type of documents when you apply for a job, it is needed and it is required. It allows you to summarize your education, skills, and experience, enabling you to successfully sell your abilities to potential employers. Okay, it is just talking about yours, it is summarizing your education, skills, and experiences in a short form. Fine. In the USA and Canada, CVs are known as resumes. Okay, in the USA and Canada, CVs are known as resumes. These documents tend to be more concise and follow no particular formatting rules. It is more concise and following no formatting rules. How long a CV should a CV be? Okay, what is the length of a CV? What should be the length of a CV? A standard CV in the UK should be no longer than two sides of A4 page. Fine, it should be no longer than two sides of A4 page. Take a look at your example of chronological CV for inspiration. Fine. Okay. To save space, only include the main points of your education and experiences. Okay, to save space, only include the main points of your education and experience. Stick to relevant information and don't repeat what you have said in your cover letter. Okay, a CV or a resume must be accompanied by a cover letter, so do not repeat the words which you have already mentioned in the cover letter. As a recent graduate, your CV may only take up one page, and that's okay. Okay, if you are a recent graduate, your CV will take only one page because you don't have a lot of experience. Fine, you might have a part-time experience. Some medical or academic CVs may be longer depending on your experiences. Fine. What to include in a CV? Okay, contact details. What are the requirement? What information can be included in a CV? Contact details include your full name. Okay, in the contact details, home address, mobile number, and email address. These things are required in the contact details. Unless you are applying for an acting or modeling job, you do not need to include your date of birth or photograph. Fine. Profile. A CV profile is a concise statement that highlights your key attributes and helps you stand out from the crowd. Okay, it shows your specialty profile. Usually placed at the beginning of the CV, it picks out a few relevant achievements and skills, fine, while expressing your career aims. Okay, I really want to work in the professional organization where I can improve myself and I can also improve the organization. Find such type of things we are talking about. A good CV profile focuses on the sector you are applying to, as your cover letter will be job specific. Okay. Keep CV personal statements short and snappy. 100 words is the perfect length. Fine. Discover how to write a personal statement for your CV. Education list and date all previous education which you have received the education, including professional qualification. Okay, one is professional qualification and one is the education. Like professional qualification, we will say the B.Ed and the M.Ed, the master education and the B.Ed. Oh, these are professional qualification. Place the most recent one first. Okay, the most recent degree must be first. Include specific modules only where relevant. Fine. Work experience after education. List your work experience in reverse date order, making sure that anything you mention is relevant to the job you are applying for. Fine. If you have plenty of relevant work experience, this section should come before education. If you have a lot of experience, it should come before education. These are the things step by step I'm telling you. The first contact detail, then the profile, then the education, then the work experience. After the work experience, skills and achievement. This is where you talk about the foreign language you speak and the IT packages you can completely competently use. You can say fluent in English and fluent in Urdu and fluent in that language and fluent in that blah blah blah. Fine. And master in the AutoCAD and master in the Excel and master in the MS Office and the DOS. Fine. Such type of thing you talk about the IT and all the things. The key skill that you list should be relevant to the job. fine. Don't exaggerate your abilities, as you will need to back up your claims at interview. If you mention a lot of things that I can do this and I can do this and I can do this and I can do this, so during the interview then you have to prove that you can do that, and then in your job all the responsibility will be on your head because you know all the things. Don't mention a lot of things which you don't know. If you have got lots of job specific skill, you should do a skill based CV. Fine. Interest. After that, you have to talk about your interest, the extracurricular activities and all that. Socializing, going to the cinema and reading are not going to catch a recruiter's attention. Fine. These things are not going to catch a recruiter's attention. However, relevant interest can provide a more complete picture of who you are, as well as giving you something to talk about an interview. Examples include writing your own blog if you want to be a journalist, or being part of a drama group if you are looking to go into the sales. Fine. So such things will be catching the attention of the recruiter, of the interviewer. References. Okay, reference. Sometimes you are required to mention the references. Fine. When you apply for a job, they ask you to mention some people references. You do not need to provide the names of referees at this stage. You also don't need to say references available upon request, as most employers would assume this is to be the case. CV format. Well, what will be the format for a CV? Avoid fonts such as Comic Sans. Fine. Choose something professional, clear, and easy to read, such Arial or Times New Roman. Such format should be followed. Use a font size between 10 and 12 to make sure that potential employers can read your CV. Fine. Ensure all fonts and font sizes are consistent throughout. Fine. Section headings are a good break up a good way to break up your CV. Section heads and all these things divide your CV. Ensure they stand out by making them larger, font size 14 or 16 and bold. Okay, only the headings. List everything in reverse chronological order so the recruiter sees your work history and most recent achievements first. Fine. Keep it concise by using clear spacing and bullet points. This type of CV layout allows potential employers to skim your CV and quickly pick out important information first. Fine. If you are posting your CV, print on white A4 paper. Fine. A4 paper. Only print on one side and don't fold your CV, and you do not want it to crease. Okay? You don't want it to arrive crease. Fine. Do not fold it. Just mention the CV on a single side of a page. Then use another page if you have got something extra. Fine. How to write a good CV. Use active verbs when possible. Only the active verbs when possible. For example, include words like created, analyze, and devise to present yourself as a person who shows initiative. Fine. A good CV doesn't have any spelling or grammar mistake. Be sure about making the grammatical mistake. Do not make it while writing your CV. Fine. Use a spell checker and enlist a second pair of eyes to check over the document. Use a spell checker or give it to someone else for proofreading. Avoid generic overused phrases such as team player, hardworking, and multitasker. Instead, provide real-life examples that demonstrate all of these skills. Tailor your CV. Look at the company's website and social media accounts. Look to see if they have recently been mentioned in the local press, and use the job advert to make sure your CV is targeted. Your CV is targeted to the role and imply. Create the right of CV for your circumstances. Create the right type of CV for your circumstances. Decide whether the chronological skills-based or academic CV is right for you. Don't put the term curriculum vitae at the top of it. You do not need to mention that this is a curriculum vitae and all the things. Fine. Make sure your email address sounds professional. If your personal address is inappropriate, create a new account for professional use. Don't lie or exaggerate on your CV or job application. Just mention the fact. Not only will you demonstrate your dishonesty to a potential employer, but there can be serious consequences too. Fine. For example, altering your degree grade from 2.2 to a 2.9 is classed as degree fraud and can result in a prison sentence. Take a look at this advice and guide on degree fraud for students. Fine. You have to be quite factual while writing your CV. If posting your CV online, don't include your home address as you could be targeted by fraudsters. Fine, do not need to mention your home address. You should always include a cover letter unless the employer states otherwise. If you are required to mention a cover letter job applicant, then you have to accompany it with a CV. It will enable you to personalize your application. You can draw attention to a particular part of your CV, disclose a disability, or clarify gaps in your work history. Find out how to write a persuasive cover letter. It was all about writing a CV and all about the applying for a job. Hope you might have understood all these things. Stay with us.